So welcome to the show, everyone. And we all know it's 9/11, so we do have to thank all of all the first responders, everyone who do that then, but every day. I thought about that today, that it's every day that we have situations that come up, from somebody who's got something in a tree to, obviously something bad. And I just want to thank everybody for all of that, for all you do. And I'm going to go right in with networking right away with my first guest, who is Diane Drain. Diane, you are the law offices of D.L. Drain. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Carol.
I want you to talk a little bit about what you specialize in.
Well, bankruptcy and real property foreclosure. So unfortunately, like the 9/11 people you spoke about, it's a situation that's dire,
right,
and people are in distress.
Well, before you came on, and I'm going to do it just like this with you right now, one of the things that you wanted to also talk about is how to know that you're finding a good attorney. First of all, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background, because with you being an attorney, it is important for that, because experience is very important.
Exactly. I've practiced for 30 years. I'm a law professor. I'm on the Board of Governors for the State Bar and involved with a lot of volunteer programs.
Okay, so how does one, besides just hearing that, how does one know that how do they find a good attorney?
And that's a question. Certainly referrals from your friends, but understand that not all friends are in the same situation. So taking a look at their ratings. Fortunately, the internet gives us the opportunity to look at AVO, AVVO, Google Plus. Take a look at what their other clients have been saying about them. And you want to make certain that they're an expert in the area you need advice. You don't go to a podiatrist for an ear, nose, and throat problem. So you want to really focus, and you want to feel comfortable with them. Not like you're being sold a used car, but that you really feel they know who you are, they respect you. And then also check them out with the State Bar. Make sure they're in good standing with the State Bar.
Now, do you do free consultations?
Definitely.
Right. You have to do that, especially with what you do.
Yes.
BK, but you also said something else, and you said it fast. I know it's foreclosure.
Correct.
Okay, so explain what that means.
Well, someone's house is in default, and they're wondering what their rights are as far as maybe protecting that house, or will they be exposed if the house is foreclosed? Can someone sue them? So helping them understand what their rights are and what their exposure is.
All right. Now, you're located in Phoenix, and your phone number is, I'm going to give it out now, it's 602-246-7106, and her website is Diane Drain, and it's spelled DRAIN.com. And this may be for someone out there that's listening that is in a situation like this, or someone they know. I like to say that because there's a lot of people that may know somebody, and that's what networking is really all about. So I want to say that if it's not for you, tell somebody about this. This is important. Okay. The first question I think everybody wants to know, because bankruptcy tends to be a hush-hush thing. People are embarrassed by it.
Yes.
But they do want to know probably the number one question which you have here, which is, does it affect you for the rest of your life?
Oh, absolutely not. If anything, it stops the bleeding. If they continue on with having defaults and constant report credit delinquency, then it just never stops. But at least bankruptcy will bring that to an end. Now, that might not be the only option, but certainly bankruptcy needs to be you need to educate yourself about what options might be out there, including bankruptcy.
Sure, and I love the way that you put that. It stops the bleeding. It stops the hurt. It stops that owie, because we do have them. And you know what? There's so many people that they're on the fence of whether they really should do this or not. And the only way you're going to know is obviously having a free consultation. Call up, have some, talk a little bit about it. Find out what are your rights. What are the steps that you can take that might just stop the bleeding? Again, her phone number is 602-246-7106. It is DianeDrain.com. Okay, so different types of bankruptcy. What are there?
Okay, well, there are ones, if you just owe credit cards, you're in and out, your income is low, you really don't have any things you're trying to fix. We call that a Chapter 7. Then there are ones that are a little more complicated, where you reorganize debt over time, depending on if you're trying to pay you back because you're behind on your house, behind on child support or alimony. Those we call Chapter 13s for individuals. but there's a lot of parameters that go to each. Just understand there's a tool available, and it's important to understand which one of those tools might be best.
Okay, and then how would it affect then somebody's credit?
Okay, and when they ask me that question, and everyone does, I say, what do you care? If you're calling me, then obviously you have financial problems. So why are you worried about your credit today? Let's clean up your act. Let's feed your children. Let's save the house and the car. And then we'll talk about how am I going to rebuild my credit, which means we're paying our house on time, our car on time, etc. Bottom line, will it affect your credit? Most certainly. But you need to focus on today and taking care of your family.
You know what? I like that. Because it is so true. I love the way that you said that too. Because what do you care? Your credit's already ruined. You did that, right? And by the way, it doesn't mean that they did. I want to bring that out. Very important.
You're right.
Because it can anything can happen to anyone. We've all been in situations. Whether it was medical, it could be.
Right.
It could be that they lost their job. A lot of people had bad things happen to good people. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So this is another big one. I'm sure a lot of people ask you. If they do go what we call BK,
Right.
okay, will they lose everything?
Oh, no, absolutely not. But that's important to understand what it is you want to keep, you should keep, or you need to keep. And so those analysis we have to go through. But if somebody's trying to hang on to a Porsche they're paying $700 a month for, and they're barely able to pay their rent, then perhaps we want to talk about maybe surrendering that as part of the bankruptcy and getting a car that they can afford. Mm-hmm. I'm not their mother. I'm their lawyer. I give legal advice, practical advice. I don't tell them what to do. I explain the legal consequences of what they do.
Well, once everything is said and done, though,
Right.
Do you help them on the path to recovery in terms of there's got to be, they have to learn how to change their lifestyle sometimes?
Yes, definitely, but just like you pointed out earlier, Carol, things happen to people. It's not that they overspent. It's that there was medical, there's divorce, there's unemployment, bad things happened, and they actually were fiscally responsible before these bad things happened, but this bad thing has now driven them out. So how can they get their life? We call it a fresh start in bankruptcy, and that's how the code is written, is a fresh start.
And it's everybody has the right, too. That's another thing.
Exactly.
Is you have that right. And again, I know we've talked a lot about this, but if you don't mind, I want to also talk about that foreclosure part, too.
Okay.
Because, if you're going through a foreclosure, you might also, you don't necessarily have to, but you might also want to go BK.
You need to find out first, are you on the hook for the debt related to the house that's in foreclosure? And if you are on the hook, then maybe you need to talk with someone about bankruptcy. Lots of times I find people are fighting very hard to save a house, and they're $50,000, $100,000 upside down, and so the house is worth far less than what they owe on it.
Okay.
And then we talk about, should you really try and save that house? Again, I'm not their mom, but we need to talk about the practical side of it.
Well, okay, real quickly, because these go by so
Right.
fast, but I do want to ask you, is there something that somebody can do themselves before they even do this?
Before calling for bankruptcy or before filing?
Before, is there, anything that they can do themselves on their own?
Okay, well, certainly I think asking for guidance, education. The Internet's got a lot of education, some good, some not. But certainly asking for some education, seeking out good advice before you ever make any decision, pro or con.
Right, and you know what? Are there really any other options, real quickly,
Sure.
that somebody just
If
have?
it's just credit card, National Foundation of Consumer Credit Counselors put you on a budget for a time. Be very, very careful about the scams that are out there. Ameridebt, all of its progeny, took them a long time to take them down. So be careful.
I'll tell you something. She does free consultations, whether it's you or someone you know. Give her a call. The phone number is 602-246-7106. She's in Phoenix. She does free consultations. She's been doing this for 30 years. It stops the bleeding, guys. The number to call her again is 602-246-7106.